The music world was not ready for this. What started as a simple announcement quietly detonated into one of the most talked-about rumors of the year. Bruno Mars, global hitmaker, vinyl lover, chart dominator, has officially been named Record Store Day 2026 ambassador set for April 18. On the surface it sounds celebratory, nostalgic, even wholesome, but fans around the world quickly realized something felt off, different, intentional. Because this time, Bruno Mars doesn't look like he's just showing up. He looks like he's running the room. From a short promotional video filmed inside a record store to whispers surrounding a mysterious compilation album titled The Collaborations, the narrative rapidly shifted. Social media exploded, forums filled with theories. One question echoed louder than all the rest. Is Bruno Mars holding a secret role in Record Store Day 2026 that hasn't been revealed yet? And the deeper you look, the harder it becomes to believe this is just an ambassador gig. A simple announcement that didn't feel simple. Record Store Day ambassadors are usually symbolic figures, artists who represent the spirit of physical music, independent stores, and community culture. But Bruno Mars' announcement came with layers, too many layers. The promotional video wasn't flashy, no massive production, no stadium energy. Instead, Bruno was seen casually flipping through vinyls, touching CD cases, smiling at cassette racks. He spoke about the feeling of music, the weight of holding an album, the ritual of listening. And yet fans noticed details others missed. Why that specific store? Why those specific records in the background? Why did the camera linger on certain shelves? Nothing in Bruno Mars' career is accidental, and fans know it. The compilation album that changed everything. Then came the second bombshell. A Record Store Day exclusive compilation album titled The Collaborations, scheduled for release on RSD 2026 itself. On paper, it's a celebration, Bruno Mars' most iconic collaborative tracks pressed into physical formats. But look closer. The tracklist reportedly includes Die With a Smile with Lady Gaga, Apt with Rosé, Uptown Funk with Mark Ronson. That's not just a compilation. That's a curated narrative of Bruno Mars' artistic evolution. Each collaboration marks a cultural shift. Each track represents a different era, audience, and sound, and releasing them together exclusively for Record Store Day sends a message. A message that says, this moment matters. Why fans believe Bruno Mars' role is much bigger. Almost immediately, theories began spreading. Some fans believe Bruno Mars had direct involvement in selecting the concept of the RSD 2026 theme, curating which artists and releases get spotlighted, designing the physical formats and packaging, strategically reviving vinyl, CD, and cassette culture through star power. Others go even further, suggesting Bruno may be acting as an unofficial creative director for Record Store Day 2026. And honestly, the clues aren't subtle. The timing feels too perfect. Why now? Streaming dominates the industry, algorithms decide hits, physical music is often treated as nostalgia, yet suddenly one of the most commercially successful artists in the world is passionately advocating for physical releases. Bruno Mars doesn't need vinyl sales. He doesn't need RSD exposure. He doesn't need legacy points. So why invest energy here? Fans believe this is about control. Physical music allows artists to control presentation, control sound quality, control storytelling, control how fans experience music. And Bruno Mars has always been about precision. The silence that speaks volumes. Perhaps the loudest clue is what hasn't been said. Neither Bruno Mars nor Record Store Day organizers have denied the rumors. No clarification, no, it's just an ambassador role, no attempt to cool speculation. In today's industry, silence is strategy. And Bruno Mars is a master strategist. A shift in power. Some industry insiders speculate that RSD 2026 could become a turning point, a symbolic rebellion against streaming-only culture. And if that's true, Bruno Mars is the perfect face for it. He bridges generations, he respects musical roots, he commands modern relevance. If anyone could make physical music cool again on a global scale, it's him. Fans spot hidden details. Fans began rewatching the promotional video frame by frame. A vinyl spine that matches a rumored unreleased pressing. A poster design echoing Bruno's past album aesthetics. A brief shot of a cassette rack labeled with an unfamiliar code. Coincidence? Bruno Mars fans don't believe in coincidence. Is the collaborations just the beginning? Another theory suggests the compilation album is only phase 1. Some believe additional surprise pressings may be announced last minute. Secret variants could be distributed to select record stores. New collaborations might be teased through packaging clues. And the wildest theory of all, that Bruno Mars could use Record Store Day 2026 to tease his next era, hiding hints in physical media that streaming audiences won't see. Why this matters more than you think. This isn't just about Bruno Mars. This is about the future of music consumption. If RSD 2026 becomes a cultural event instead of a niche celebration, the ripple effects could be massive. More artists prioritizing physical releases. Independent record stores gaining global attention. Fans reconnecting with music as an experience, not background noise. And if Bruno Mars is indeed pulling strings behind the scenes, history may look back on this moment as the start of a quiet revolution. The industry is watching closely. Other artists are watching, labels are watching, streaming platforms are definitely watching. Because if Bruno Mars proves that physical music can dominate headlines again, everything changes. One final question that won't go away. As April 18, 2026 draws closer, anticipation keeps rising. Fans are already planning overnight lines, collectors are preparing wallets, and rumors continue to grow louder by the day. But one question refuses to disappear. Is Bruno Mars just the ambassador of Record Store Day 2026, or the architect behind its boldest transformation yet? Until the needle drops and the vinyl spins, no one truly knows. And that's exactly why the world can't stop watching. The tension doesn't fade. If anything, it sharpens. As the weeks pass after the initial announcement, something unusual happens across the global music scene. Record Store Day 2026 starts trending far earlier than normal, not just among collectors or audiophiles, but mainstream fans, casual listeners, even younger audiences who rarely touch physical media. And at the center of that unexpected momentum, one name keeps surfacing. Bruno Mars. A pattern fans can't ignore. Longtime followers of Bruno Mars know one thing very well: whenever he moves quietly, something big follows. He has never been an artist who floods the public with constant updates. Instead, he lets anticipation do the work. Silence becomes fuel, mystery becomes momentum. That's exactly what's happening now. No additional statements. No clarification interviews. No behind-the-scenes footage released afterward. Just stillness. And in that stillness, fans start connecting dots. They notice how the RSD 2026 branding subtly mirrors design elements from Bruno's past eras: rounded typography reminiscent of 24K Magic, muted vintage tones echoing unorthodox jukebox, and minimalist layouts that feel almost deliberately timeless. This doesn't look like generic campaign material. It looks curated. The ambassador who feels like a conductor. Typically, ambassadors lend their name and face. They promote, they show support, they smile for the camera. But Bruno Mars' involvement feels different, less promotional, more architectural. He isn't telling fans to buy physical music. He's reminding them why they fell in love with it in the first place. That distinction matters. In his short recorded message, Bruno doesn't talk numbers, he doesn't talk charts. He talks about touch, weight, sound, memory. The sensory language is intentional, almost instructional, as if he's guiding a generation back to something they forgot they needed. And suddenly, Record Store Day stops feeling like an event. It starts feeling like a movement. Industry whispers grow louder. Behind closed doors, rumors intensify. Independent store owners begin hinting that RSD 2026 planning meetings feel different. Some describe unusually high levels of coordination. Others mention tighter secrecy clauses. A few even claim they were asked to prepare for unexpected demand spikes. Nothing official, nothing confirmed. But enough to make people nervous. And excited. The collaborations isn't random, it's strategic. The more fans analyze the collaborations, the more its significance grows. Each track represents a different audience. Lady Gaga brings theatrical artistry and cross-genre appeal. Rissé bridges global pop and K-pop fandom power. Mark Ronson symbolizes funk revival and producer-led influence. Together they form a map of how Bruno Mars connects worlds. And releasing this compilation only in physical formats on Record Store Day sends a message that's impossible to ignore. If you want the full story, you have to show up. Physical music as an experience, not a product. Streaming is convenient, efficient, endless. But it's also disposable. Bruno Mars understands something many artists have forgotten. Music becomes meaningful when effort is involved. Waiting in line, holding a sleeve, flipping a record, reading liner notes, listening from start to finish. By aligning himself so strongly with Record Store Day, Bruno isn't rejecting modern platforms, he's challenging them. He's reminding fans that music doesn't have to be passive. It can be intentional again. Fans begin preparing early. Months before April, social media fills with preparation posts. Fans discuss which stores might receive limited pressings, how early to line up, whether different countries will get exclusive variants, if surprise drops could happen midday. This level of planning is usually reserved for major tour or album releases. Yet here it is for Record Store Day. That alone speaks volumes. The emotional pull no one expected. What truly surprises industry observers isn't the hype, it's the emotion. Fans aren't just excited, they're nostalgic, reflective, almost sentimental. Many share stories of first albums they ever bought, memories tied to physical CDs and vinyl, parents who introduced them to music through records. And Bruno Mars becomes the bridge between generations. Older fans see validation. Younger fans discover curiosity. And suddenly, Record Store Day feels personal. Why Bruno Mars was the only choice? Looking back, it almost feels inevitable. Bruno Mars is one of the few modern artists who thrives without constant digital noise, values musicianship over virality, commands respect across genres and age groups. If Record Store Day needed someone to quietly redefine its relevance, there was no better candidate. Not louder artists, not trend-driven figures, someone timeless. The calm before April 18. As the date inches closer, the energy becomes unmistakable. No leaks. No previews. No spoilers. Just anticipation tightening like a held breath. Fans know something is coming. They just don't know how big.